Hello and welcome to Fight News Now Extra. I'm John Pollock and we've got all your news coming out of the weekend with John Ramdeen and Robin Black here to chat. Today we're discussing Ronda Rousey's comments from the weekend. The UFC returned to Brazil with a heavyweight main event, and Floyd Mayweather Jr. keeps his undefeated streak intact. The biggest card of the weekend featured Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Maidana meeting for the second time this year following a majority decision win by Mayweather back in May. The rematch saw a solid unanimous decision for Mayweather, with the added controversy of a confrontation in the 8th round where Mayweather accused Maidana of biting his glove as they were being separated by referee Kenny Bayless. Mayweather has stated he will fight next May and September and retire after those two fights. Andrei Arlovski helped propel his stock within the UFC's heavyweight division on Saturday night with a knockout of Antonio Silva in the main event of Fight Night 51. It was two right hands that sent Silva to the mat and out at the 2:59 mark, giving Arlovski his second win since returning to the UFC following a controversial decision nod over Brendan Schaub earlier this year. Arlovski also took home an additional $50,000 with a Performance of the Night bonus. And UFC Women's Bantamweight champion Ronda Rousey was in Brazil for Saturday's card and spoke to members of the media prior to the event. Rousey stated she would not only like to fight Bethe Correia, but would also like to do it in Brazil, stating that she likes what Correia is doing to gain attention and it would add to the fight if it were to be made. Rousey also stated she would like to fight Gina Carano and Kat Zingano. Rousey has previously stated she is looking to fight on the January 3rd card in Las Vegas, which already features John Jones and Daniel Cormier, but Rousey doesn't officially have a fight lined up as of yet. And I'm here with John Ramdeen and Robin Black. Tons of stuff to discuss coming out of this past weekend. Everyone has talked about Floyd Mayweather Jr. We're going to keep it simple to our world of mixed martial arts here. Andrei Arlovski scoring a very important win for his longevity. And as we talked about last week, that heavyweight division is so open at this point that you string together one or two victories and suddenly we're talking about Andrei Arlovski as a heavyweight contender in 2014. I think realistically one fight away that this guy could be fighting for the title. I don't think that's insane.
Essentially, you could have Andrei Arlovski fight for the title after the fight between Fabricio Werdum and Cain Velasquez. All the UFC has to do is tell the right story. You have a former UFC heavyweight champion in Andrei Arlovski, who's in his return to the UFC has two back-to-back victories, including the impressive stoppage over Bigfoot Silva, and he happens to have a win over Fabrizio Werdum, who's now fighting for the UFC heavyweight.
And Ben Rothwell and Roy Nelson.
Exactly.
I mean, this is a guy whose record, I mean, you are going back a number of years,
what
but
difference does it make? Fans
looks
are
very
dumb.
good in 2014.
Sure, you can sell it, no problem. But I think you should put him up against the winner. We got two awesome fat guys going at it this weekend. Just two awesome fat dudes going at it. And if he fights the winner of that and wins, then it's a simple deal. Heavyweights are fun. Heavyweights are good fun. We like the flyweights. We like the fast guys.
Good heavyweights are good.
That's a great point, man.
Good heavyweights
are good. Yeah, great point.
Good.
And, you know, some people like just seeing violence and seeing guys hit each other. But, yeah, bad heavyweights not quite as good when they get all exhausted
tired,
and stuff.
Yeah, laying on the, you know. So it depends. It's got to be the right style.
Well, let's also talk about the other side of the equation on Saturday night, and that was Antonio Silva, someone who came into this with, you know, a lot of baggage. He had that suspension. He has come off of testosterone. It was really hard to ascertain where this guy's body is because we only got to see 2 minutes and 59 seconds of it, but this was a guy who seemed very sluggish. He was, you know, just almost a sitting target there for Andrei Arlovski and ended up on his back. He's in a very curious position at this point where I don't know what is next for him. He's got to have this surgery now. He is someone that probably you can make a pretty strong argument does need to be on testosterone and is not allowed to be at this point. I don't know what the next step is for Antonio Silva.
The next step is to take your time, you know, do what you need to do to make sure you're healed up, make sure that you have doctors backing to say, you know, yes, you can compete, or no, this is the end of the road for you. But I think for Bigfoot Silva, you know, you talk about his strategy. I actually thought it was a pretty good strategy because we know that Andrei Arlovski has fast hands. He knows how to set up his punches, and he was using foot movement. So I think Bigfoot Silva was waiting for Andrei Arlovski to make a mistake, which we've seen him do in the past, and try to capitalize with some sort of counter punching. But Andrei Arlovski, when you're heavyweight and you land a perfect punch, that, as Robin pointed out, you don't even have to land the perfect punch. You land somewhere in this general vicinity, and your opponent's probably going to the ground.
It's true, and I think that the preparation that Bigfoot and his camp did for Andrei Arlovski was what they thought Arlovski would do, which would be pot shot a little bit and expect Bigfoot to come forward. So we had a bit of a new Bigfoot, but we also had a new Arlovski. Great feinting, great head movement, really, really active with his feet. So that kind of got those size 57s tied together. You know, he was a little bit tied together with his feet, and it made him stable. And then Arlovski flashed the right hand once or twice, got no response. He was like, oh, I'm free to throw this thing, and he threw it.
A number of impressive submissions on the weekend as well. We had Godofredo Pepe Castro, who had a mounted triangle submitting Deshaun Johnson, but I think only the second best submission of the weekend, because Liam McGeary pulling off an inverted triangle over Kelly Nunson to win the light heavyweight tournament. Bellator, I thought, had a pretty fun show on Friday night between that and Emmanuel Newton defending his light heavyweight title, knocking Joey Beltran into another zip code on Friday.
And that's what it comes down to. The Bellator's, what they have to do is they have to ensure that when the fans tune in and they go to the venue, that they leave saying, wow, what a thrilling show. And to have Joey Beltran use the same spinning knockout that he did against King Mo the second time, so you kind of create a story there. And same with the inverted triangle choke. So fans walk away saying, hey, now we've got a good matchup between McGeary and the hardcore kid, but I don't know how those two are going to match up.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I actually did a breakdown on both the spinning back fist and the inverted triangle on 5 rounds this week. It was really fun, a little mini breakdown. When Bellator is putting together, you know, they're getting their reputation changed instantly with Scott Coker. They're pulling in some good people. They're putting on exciting fights. Things seem to be going their way, man.
Yeah, especially when you look at the fact that, yes, the UFC has got this crazy matchup between Mark Hunt and Roy Nelson. And I talked about it before. People expect a car crash to happen in the center of the cage. Well, Bellator has their version on Friday night with former WEC champion Doug Rhino Marshall taking on Melvin Manhoff, one of the most destructive fighters on the planet. As a matter of fact, he knocked out Mark Hunt with the left hook, I believe.
So that's coming up on Friday. Bellator, I think they've got a cool little vibe going with them right now. I think some people, they're going to just completely send them to the side, but Bellator is trying to give off fun fights that people are talking about, and I thought Friday's card, a great kind of 2-hour show if you were in that. Ryan Couture, no less, just dismantling his opposition on Friday. So that was all of your MMA action from the weekend. For Robin Black, John Ramdeen, I am John Pollock, and we have more of Fight News Now Extra coming up.